From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix. From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Arizona GOP Chairman Robert Graham is throwing his hat in the ring for the chairman vacancy in the Republican National Committee. We look at his role in President-elect Donald Trump's transition.
Plus, how Phoenix LGBTQ communities are reacting to last week's election, and the latest from the president-elect on gay marriage.
And how groups of Haitians are living on the U.S.-Mexico border, waiting for their chance at entry to Arizona.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Alex Capriello.
And I'm Alexis Ducrath. Thank you for joining us. There's an opening at the top of the Republican Party, and one Arizona leader wants the job. Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus was named Trump's chief of staff. Cronkite News reporter Claire Caulfield is live in D.C. with what this means for Arizona's Republican Party.
With Trump's appointment of Priebus, the national position is open for the first time in 6 years. Arizona GOP Chairman Robert Graham threw his hat into the ring on election night, citing his experience with minority communities and new technology. One political consultant I spoke to said, his record speaks for itself, and that's why so many people have been encouraging Robert to run. He's built many inroads in the Native American community and kept the Arizona Republican Party stable through a very challenging time. But Trump is known for picking those he's already worked with. Published reports indicate Trump might tap his deputy campaign manager, David Bossie, or Ronna Romney McDaniel, Michigan GOP chairman and former nominee Mitt Romney's niece. Live in Washington, D.C., Claire Caulfield, Cronkite News.
Graham says some conservatives are scared about how the Trump administration will run, but tensions will be eased after appointments are finalized.
There's a woman named Kay Carroll Jones who's in charge of the transition for for Mr. Trump. And then Hillary Clinton has a person that's been over that transition as well. And so they're looking and considering these 6,000 appointees. And she's made public comments to other people saying that a lot of those comments about bigotry and things like that will change immediately when people start to see his appointments.
Today, former presidential candidate Ben Carson declined an offer to take the job as Secretary of Health and Human Services and will instead continue to advise Trump from outside the White House. Steve Bannon has been named chief strategist, but there have been no other cabinet members called as Vice President-elect Mike Pence continues to take control of the transition.
President Barack Obama touched down in Greece this morning, beginning a week-long foreign trip. On his agenda, emphasizing the U.S. commitment to the NATO alliance and easing the way for President-elect Donald Trump.
You've seen some of the rhetoric among Republican elected officials and activists and media. Some of it pretty troubling and not necessarily connected to facts. I will never apologize for saying that the future of humanity and the future of the world is going to be defined by what we have in common, as opposed to those things that separate us and ultimately lead us into conflict.
The president also said that he does not feel personally responsible for what Trump has said, and that while it is not constitutionally required to undergo a prolonged transition from the current president to the new president, he feels ensuring a smooth transition is vital. Senator John McCain dealt his first blow to Trump's national security plans by denouncing the president-elect's relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. McCain, who is also the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said that any attempt to reset relations with Russia is unacceptable. McCain also said, "We should place as much faith in such statements as any other made by a former KGB agent who has plunged his country into tyranny, murdered his political opponents, invaded his neighbors, threatened America's allies, and attempted to undermine America's elections."
With the Republican-controlled Congress and a newly elected Donald Trump in the White House, members of the LGBTQ community are concerned newly acquired rights like gay marriage and partner benefits could be taken away. Jesse Canales reports on the latest from the president-elect and has reaction.
Now, transgender people I spoke with reiterated they're going to wait and see whether the Donald Trump administration is friendly to the LGBTQ community, like he said in his recent interview with 60 Minutes.
President-elect Donald Trump's surprising victory left many speechless.
I felt like paralyzed. I just didn't know what to do with my thoughts.
Ken Essa is making a transition to a new segment into his life. Essa was designated a female at birth but is now transitioning to a male and is worried some of his rights may be stripped under Trump's presidency.
When I get married, it'll be a gay marriage. That's what they're going to consider it. So if they strip that away, then I'm never getting married.
Not all transgender people are concerned about what may happen to their community during Trump's presidency.
I see him as one of the people who understands us and it doesn't exactly accept the community because it doesn't go with his views, but he's not going to be someone who is here to harm us.
Like Essa, Alex Mendoza was also designated a female at birth, but identifies as a straight male. He says although he understands why some people in his community are afraid of a Trump presidency, he believes they should wait and give Trump a chance.
These cases have gone to the Supreme Court. They've been settled, and I think I'm fine with that.
ACLU of Arizona says the Supreme Court is typically reluctant to overturn a decision they recently made. But the LGBTQ community should be concerned with the rights they may lose once Trump revokes President Obama's executive orders, like those that protect transgender federal employees.
We're also concerned that the Department of Education under President Trump may remove protections or guidance that indicates that schools should be treating transgender students equally.
The ACLU of Arizona advises transgender people to fill out their social security information with the gender they're identified with, and those infected with HIV to sign up for health insurance now, just in case Donald Trump gets rid of Obamacare. Live in downtown Phoenix, Jesse Canales, Cronkite News.
The Republicans in the House have unanimously chosen to re-elect Representative Paul Ryan as House Speaker. Ryan must win the formal election when the new Congress convenes and the full House picks its Speaker in January. All Democrats are expected to oppose him, but Ryan will need support from about 24 to keep his spot.
In addition to a new administration and new party leadership, Washington will also get a new Congress in January, and new House members took time today to pose for their official class photo. Newly elected Arizona Representatives Andy Biggs and Tom O'Halloran were among the 54 new members of the 115th Congress posing on the steps of the Capitol, and the class of 2016 had a special backdrop for their class picture. Workers just finished a 2-year project to refurbish the Capitol Dome, the first comprehensive restoration of the iconic dome in more than half a century.
28 years in the Maricopa County Recorder's Office is coming to an end for Helen Purcell. Today, Purcell conceded to Democrat Adrian Fontes. Fontes is new to politics and will be the first Democrat to hold the position in more than 50 years. In a statement, Purcell said she will do everything she can to ensure a seamless transition. She also said, "I want to express my appreciation to everyone who voted, regardless of how they voted. I've spent my career dedicated to our election process, and there is no greater joy than seeing such high turnout and participation."
The Arizona Democratic Party is attacking Maricopa County election officials, saying they are not following state election procedures and did not try to verify questionable signatures on some early ballots before discarding them. The Recorder's Office says that they did call voters if their early ballot had a questionable signature, but added that the law does not allow officials to do that for early ballots dropped off on Election Day. According to the Recorder's Office, there are about 1,400 affected ballots.
The Dakota Access Pipeline developer is pushing to end construction delays.
And Native Americans in Phoenix are adding to the nationwide protests. Coming up on Cronkite News, why tribal members are bringing their protests to Phoenix.
Plus, groups of Haitian migrants on the border waiting for their chance to enter the U.S.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming. found right about now.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Monday, November 21st at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring this year's recipient, award-winning journalist and CBS Evening News anchor Scott Pelley. The annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon. cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
The company developing the Dakota Access Pipeline is seeking a federal court's permission to complete construction under a Missouri River reservoir. Yesterday, the Army Corps of Engineers called for more study and input before it decides whether to allow the pipeline to cross under Lake Oahe, which would delay construction. Energy Transfer Partners is asking the U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. to confirm the company has the legal right to proceed with construction. The Corps granted ETP the permits needed to cross in July, but in September said further analysis was needed given tribal concerns. About 100 people gathered in front of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers office in downtown Phoenix today to protest against the Dakota Access Pipeline. A member of the Crow Creek Sioux tribe in South Dakota, who was recently in Standing Rock, is now protesting in Phoenix and plans to return for Thanksgiving, taking donated turkeys to people at the camp. Kimberly Hawk joined the protest in Phoenix today to express why she's resisting the pipeline.
I tell my babies, you know, honey, Auntie couldn't have stood up for you 500 years ago. If I can stand up for you today, then I will stand up and I will be loud and I will be proud and I will say, this is why we need it.
Protests are being held in cities like Flagstaff, Prescott, Tucson, and Sierra Vista, and across the nation today. Organizers are calling it a day of action.
Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich says the city of Tucson may be violating a 2013 state law by destroying guns that have been turned over to police. The complaint says the city is violating a law that requires the sale of legal guns that are obtained by law enforcement. Tucson officials argue destroying firearms is legal because it is a local issue involving municipal property. City records show that the Tucson Police Department has destroyed 4,820 guns since the beginning of 2013. No official legal action has been taken yet.
An empty Phoenix jail will be renovated to serve as the new Maricopa County Attorney's Office. The Madison Street Jail has been empty for more than 10 years. Now the county wants to turn it into a modern office space. The renovations would cost around $60 to $65 million and is expected to begin next year and to be completed by spring of 2019.
Thousands of Haitians are gathered on the border trying to enter the U.S. They started arriving over the summer. Most are stuck in Tijuana. But this fall, a growing number also showed up in Nogales, Mexico. Cronkite News reporter Alejandro Barjarona talked to Haitians who hope to make a new home in the U.S.
At this busy port of entry in Nogales, a group of Haitians waits and watches others cross into the U.S.
I know getting to the United States won't be easy, but only then I'll be satisfied.
Wilmer Solomon was an auto mechanic in Haiti, and when he could not provide for his wife and 2 children, he left for Brazil.
In Brazil, I could not find enough work. So my friends and I got together and decided it was time to leave for the U.S.
He's not alone. At least 4,000 immigrants have arrived at the border seeking temporary protective status, which the U.S. granted to Haitians because the country had suffered several natural disasters.
Haitians have been waiting. They've been having to sleep on the streets for a month to 2 months, however long the wait is. The U.S. is accepting fewer numbers of people, so they can't enter in as quickly.
In September, the U.S. ended temporary protective status for Haitians.
Haiti is still the poorest country in our hemisphere. They just recently had a hurricane. The infrastructure is not able they're not able to take care of the people that are already in the country, much less people that have been living many years outside of the country and have nothing to go back to.
I'm going to Florida. because I have family there in the United States.
Solomon and other Haitians stuck in Mexico still hope they'll make it across the border and start a new life. In Nogales, Mexico, Alejandro Barahona, Cronkite News.
The Gilbert Police Department is getting 2 grants to help crack down on speeding and DUIs. The Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety awarded $150,000 to the department to help patrol school zones for speeders and to catch impaired drivers. The grant also allows more overtime for officers. Temperatures are just starting to cool down around Arizona.
But ADOT is already preparing drivers for the first snowfall. Coming up on Cronkite News, how you should stock your car in the winter.
Degrees right now in Phoenix, the warmest all across the United States. Does that trend continue? I have the answer coming up next.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I'm always searching to feel like I fit into something.
We are the people that we are because of our past.
I'm just one of many who stopped being silent.
It's just proof of how far we have come.
Make sure in all the hustle and bustle, we don't lose sight of why we're here.
It all boils down to communicating the lives we live.
If you look closely, they've got a story to tell.
It connects with you in a very deep way.
We wish you love, peace, and soul.
Come with us on this great adventure.
Come and play with us.
Onward and onward.
Good ideas open up a whole new world of possibilities.
The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself.
The sky's the limit.
Where I go, there you are.
Grand Canyon West passed the 1 million visitor mark this year, an increase of more than 13% from 2014. Main attractions on the West Rim include the Grand Canyon Skywalk, the Hualapai Lodge, a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon, a horseback ride, a pontoon boat ride along the Colorado River. Final attendance for 2016 is expected to top more than 1.1 million visitors.
The Arizona Department of Transportation has closed State Route 366 on Mount Graham for the winter until April 15th. The highway, also known as Swift Trail, goes up the mountain in southeastern Arizona and is blocked about a half-mile past the Coronado National Forest Shannon Campground. Cars are not allowed to pass, but hikers, mountain bikers, and skiers may use the area.
It may not feel like it here in the valley where we're still seeing highs in the upper 80s, but temperatures are cooling down around the state, and ADOT wants to make sure that everyone is prepared for the first snowfall. Sunny skies, short sleeves, beautiful warm Arizona weather. But even with the chance we'll hit a record high today, ADOT is talking about snow.
Our training goes on all year long, and we have maintenance work on the snowplows all year long as well, but we are ready. Come this time of the year, we have nearly 200 plows statewide, and then we have 400 employees who are actually trained to be snowplow operators.
And if you should see these plows on the street, get out of the way.
Each one of these snowplows weighs more than 30 tons. They are very heavy vehicles. You do not want to mess around with a snowplow. You want to be able to let the snowplow operator do his or her job, clear the highway ahead of you. We always recommend staying at least 4 vehicle lengths behind a snowplow.
ADOT wants people to do one thing as we wish for even just fall-like temperatures.
The biggest mistake is just not being prepared.
If you are heading out to northern Arizona, check the forecast and stock your car.
What we focus on is having the things like the extra blankets, the extra change of clothing, the extra gloves, the flashlights, the extra batteries, also the food items, some snack items, maybe some, and you should have some bottled water, things that are going to make you comfortable if you have to stop along the highway during winter driving conditions.
Snow can happen anytime, anywhere.
You have the White Mountains. You have Mount Lemmon in the Tucson area. It can snow down in Nogales and in eastern Arizona, southeastern Arizona.
And with snow comes ice, and driving on it can be difficult.
You want to slowly pump the brakes and let them do the job. That's really the best way to stay out of a skid. If you find yourself skidding, usually the recommendation is going to be make sure you're turning the steering wheel in the direction of the skid. That usually is a way to allow you to straighten things out. And again, no panic braking.
The best advice, just to be prepared and take your time. To keep up to date on weather conditions and snowplow tracking, you can follow ADOT on Twitter or check out their website.
Temperatures around the valley aren't nearly as cool as they should be at this time of year.
In fact, we're close to record-breaking heat. Tyler Klaus joins us from the Weather Center.
Alexa, down in Yuma, we're sitting at 90 degrees. We have 71 degrees up in the Grand Canyon, but 86 right now in Phoenix, and that is our actual high for the day. Our normal for this time of year is 76 degrees, so a good 10 degrees above average. Now, we were forecasting a high right about 90 degrees today. We didn't make it that high because of clouds rolling in, but if we would have hit 90, we would have tied the daily record and the latest day that we've hit 90 all year, and that is on record. As we take a look at your rest of your day, cooling down to 79 degrees at 7 p.m. Clouds roll in overnight, 7 a.m. waking up to 61 degrees with cloudy skies, and those clouds stick around all day tomorrow with 82 degrees as you go home from work. And that's because as we work through the next couple of days, you can see those clouds really roll in about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning with more clouds off across the Arizona border there. As we work through Wednesday, more clouds build in, and you can really kind of see this clearing line. That's actually a cold front that will be working its way down to the southwest of Phoenix. It's associated with the low pressure. No rain associated with this, but it will be bringing cooler temperatures. By Wednesday at 11 p.m., you see this cold front just goes through Phoenix, knocking down our temperatures over Wednesday night. And throughout the day on Thursday, cooler temperatures go in as that front moves off to the southwest. As you can see with our 7-day forecast, you can really notice the difference. About 10 degrees cooler on Thursday as it will be Wednesday. On Thursday, we get back up to 78 degrees, but on Sunday, we do have a chance of a storm, 50% of a storm, 79 degrees. Monday, we should see sunny skies, but below average temperatures at 71 degrees. Tyler Klaus, Cronkite Weather.
Thanks so much for that, Tyler. Twitter is rolling out a new feature to help stop cyberbullying. The social media company says in the next couple of days, you'll be able to mute certain words, phrases, and conversations from your notifications. Twitter also says they are making the reporting process faster to identify abusive content.
Thanksgiving is next week.
And Arizona families may be spending less on their holiday meals. Coming up on Cronkite News, the new average cost for an Arizona Thanksgiving dinner.
The confidence to lead our country.
This isn't reality television.
I feel like Hamilton reached out from history and wouldn't let me go until I told his story.
I make no apology for my actions. I would do the same again.
How we come so far and yet have so far to go.
Right there, coming up.
In 1920s Melbourne,
Careful with the hand luggage. My pistol's in there somewhere and it may still be loaded.
Phryne Fisher is a detective.
Things could get interesting around here.
Thought they already were.
Who isn't afraid to live a little.
I hope you're not concealing a dangerous weapon under that skirt.
I'm concealing a lot of things. Why do you think you can just run off on your own? Because I'm carrying a gun.
The irresistible series, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Saturday night at 10 on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
The cost of the classic Arizona Thanksgiving dinner is down 3% this year, according to the Arizona Farm Bureau's annual price survey. A turkey dinner with all the trimmings will cost about $46 for an Arizona family of 10. That's about $4.63 a person. Last year, it was about $48 for the exact same meal. The survey shopping list includes turkey, stuffing, sweet potatoes, rolls, peas, cranberries, a relish tray, pumpkin pie with whipped cream.
Thanks to the holidays, many people will be traveling and households will be preparing seasonal feasts. The American Red Cross has some cooking tips people can follow to ensure a safe holiday. Don't wear loose clothing or sleeves that dangle while cooking. If you are frying, grilling, or broiling food, never leave it unattended. If you just leave the kitchen for even a short period of time, turn off the stove. Use a timer to remind yourself that the stove or oven is on. Keep kids and pets away from the cooking area. Make them stay at least 3 feet away from the stove. And check the kitchen before going to bed or leaving your home to make sure all the stoves, ovens, and small appliances are turned off. Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll look at the possible economic impact of a Trump presidency. And we'll hear about social media and where voters got their information. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.